is the first thing I remember, even now. Not just cold like discomfort, but the kind that gets inside you and stays. The kind that turns your thoughts slow and brittle. It's the winter of 1995 in Wyoming, and I'm driving west on a county road that hasn't been plowed in days, maybe longer. Snow blows across the headlights in pale curtains, the land on either side flat and empty, stretching into darkness that feels endless. I shouldn't be out here, I know that. Everyone does. But I've taken a temporary job checking power lines and relay stations after storms, and the money is good enough that I ignore the warnings. Wyoming in winter doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your confidence. It just waits. The radio fades to static about an hour back. I leave it on anyway, just to have something that sounds alive. The truck shudders as the wind hits it broadside, and I tighten my grip on the wheel. There's nothing out here but snow, fence posts, and the occasional dark shape of an abandoned house, half buried in drifts. I tell myself that if something goes wrong, someone will come along eventually. That's the lie you tell yourself out here. The station I'm headed to sits near an old rail spur that hasn't been used since the 70s. A squat concrete building, one room, no windows. When I finally see it through the blowing snow, relief hits me so hard my hands start to shake. I pull up beside it, kill the engine, and step out into a wind that nearly knocks me over. The silence is enormous. Even the wind seems muffled by the snow, its sound swallowed by the open land. My breath fogs instantly, freezing into my beard. I unlock the station door and step inside, sealing myself into a dim, humming space that smells like dust and ozone. I work quickly, checking gauges, jotting down numbers with fingers already numb. That's when I hear footsteps outside. They're slow, deliberate, crunching through snow that should be empty. I freeze, pen hovering over the clipboard. I tell myself it's just the wind shifting drifts, maybe ice falling from the roof. Then I hear it again, closer now, circling the building. "Hello?" I call, my voice thin in the small room. No answer. The footsteps stop right outside the door. A shadow passes over the frosted glass of the narrow window set high in the wall. It's tall, too tall, and it lingers, as if whoever or whatever is standing there knows I'm watching. The shadow slides away. I don't wait. I shove my clipboard into my bag and unlock the door, stepping back out into the storm. The cold slams into me, sharper now, like punishment. I scan the area, heart pounding. There's no one there, no tracks either. The snow around the building is smooth, wind sculpted, untouched. My breath comes fast, loud in my ears. I back toward the truck, never turning my eyes from the darkness. That's when I hear voices. They drift in from somewhere far away, carried on the wind, low and murmuring, layered over each other. I can't make out the words at first, just the sound of people talking, laughing softly, like a crowd heard through walls. There shouldn't be anyone for miles. I get into the truck and slam the door, hands fumbling with the keys. The engine turns over once, twice, then catches. As I pull away, the headlights sweep across the rail spur, and I see them. Figures stand along the old tracks, half buried in snow. Men, women, shapes wrapped in coats from another time. Their faces are pale, eyes dark hollows. Some of them look burned. Some look frozen, lips blue, skin cracked. All of them are watching me. The truck fishtails as I jerk the wheel, nearly losing control. When I look back, the tracks are empty. I drive faster than I should, snow flying up behind me. The voices follow. They rise and fall, sometimes right at the edge of hearing, sometimes so close I swear they're inside the cab. I catch words now and then. "So cold. Wait. Don't leave us." My chest tightens. I keep my eyes on the road, on the narrow path of visibility the headlights give me. The wind howls, rocking the truck. Then something hits the back, hard enough to jolt me forward. I glance in the rearview mirror. Someone is sitting in the bed of the truck. He's hunched low, coat flapping wildly, hands gripping the side. His face is wrong, skin stretched tight, eyes milky and unfocused. His mouth opens, and frost spills out like breath that never warms. I scream and slam on the brakes. The truck skids, spins, and dies. The silence afterward is suffocating. I sit there, frozen, waiting for something, anything to happen. Snow taps softly against the windows. I force myself to look in the mirror again. The truck bed is empty. The engine won't turn over. The radio crackles to life on its own, a wash of static resolving into something that sounds like singing, thin and reedy, a melody that wavers like it's being sung through ice. I step out of the truck, driven by panic more than sense. The wind has died down, leaving the world unnaturally still. Snow stretches out in all directions, smooth and unbroken. Figures stand around me now, dozens of them, maybe more. They emerge from the darkness, from the snow itself, as if they've always been there, and I'm just now allowed to see them. Railroad workers in heavy coats, families clutching each other, men with lanterns that don't cast light. Their feet don't quite touch the ground. A woman steps forward. Her hair is stiff with frost, her eyes gentle and unbearably sad. "Please," she says. Her voice is clear, close. "We just want to be warm." I stagger back, shaking my head. "I can't," I whisper. "I can't help you." They move closer. The cold intensifies, sinking into my bones, my thoughts slowing. I feel tired, so tired. It would be easy to sit down, to let the snow cover me, to let the voices lull me into sleep. A distant sound cuts through the fog in my head. An engine. Headlights crest a rise in the road, bright and blinding. The figures around me recoil, their shapes blurring, thinning, pulled back into the darkness. The singing turns to a wail, then vanishes. I collapse to my knees as a plow truck roars up beside me, its driver shouting something I can't hear. Hands grab me, haul me into warmth and noise and life. They find my truck stalled, but intact. No footprints, no tracks, no sign that anything unusual happened at all. I quit the job the next day. It's years later now, but winter still makes my chest tight. I have lived with Wyoming winters all my life, but the winter of 1957 is the one that never loosens its grip on me. Even now, decades later, when December comes on and the snow starts piling against the windows, I find myself listening for footsteps where none should be. I tell this in the present because that night never really passed. It follows me the way cold follows bone. It's mid-December, only a few days before Christmas, and the town is dressed up as best it can manage. Strings of lights hang across Main Street, sagging under the weight of snow. Store windows glow softly, displaying toys, scarves, tins of candy, all looking slightly unreal behind fogged glass. The air smells like coal smoke and pine, sharp and clean and biting. Snow has been falling since morning, slow and steady, and now it's coming down harder, the flakes thick enough to blur the edges of buildings. I finish my shopping just before dusk. I've got a paper sack tucked under my arm, the bottom already damp from melting snow. Inside are modest presents, socks for my father, a book for my sister, a little wind-up toy I found for my niece. The kind of gifts you buy when money is tight, but Christmas still matters. My fingers ache inside my gloves, stiff with cold, and my cheeks feel raw from the wind. The radio in the Five and Dime has been talking all afternoon about a storm rolling in from the west. The kind of storm that closes highways, buries fence lines, and leaves you wondering if the world has always been this empty. Folks move quicker on the sidewalks, collars turned up, eyes down. No one lingers. My house sits on the far side of town, past the old hill and the cemetery. Normally, I take the longer route home, sticking to the main streets where the lights are brighter and the snow gets plowed first. But tonight, the wind is cutting straight through my coat, and the thought of another 15 minutes out in it makes my teeth clench. The shortcut through the cemetery will save time, and I've taken it before. Never at night, but plenty of times in the gray hours of late afternoon. I stop at the iron gate, my breath puffing white in front of me. The cemetery lies quiet beyond it, rows of headstones softened and half lost beneath drifts. Snow fills in the path, smoothing everything into gentle, deceptive curves. The gate itself is rimed with ice, the metal cold enough to sting through my gloves when I push it open. The creak of the hinges sounds unnaturally loud. Inside, the world feels different. The snow muffles sound until even the wind seems distant, as if it's happening somewhere else. The lights of town fade quickly behind me, swallowed by falling flakes and distance, leaving only a dim, yellowish glow that barely reaches the first row of stones. The air feels heavier here, colder somehow, pressing against my chest. I follow the main path, guided more by memory than sight. My boots crunch softly, each step sounding too deliberate in the quiet. Snow settles on my hat and shoulders, slipping down the back of my neck. Somewhere far off, I hear the low moan of the wind moving through trees, a sound that feels like a voice trying to speak through layers of cloth. I'm halfway through when I see someone ahead of me. At first, it's just a shape, dark against all that white. A man standing near one of the older sections where the stones lean and sink with age. Relief washes over me so fast it almost makes me dizzy. There's comfort in not being alone, even in a place like this, especially in a place like this. Evening, I call, lifting a hand. He turns slowly, like he's been expecting me. He's tall and thin, older than me by at least 20 years, with a narrow face and deep-set eyes. He wears a long, dark coat, buttoned all the way up, and a hat pulled low on his head. Snow clings to him, dusting his shoulders and brim, but he doesn't brush it away. He smiles politely, the kind of smile you'd expect from someone you pass on the street. "Evening," he says. His voice is calm, steady, carrying easily through the cold air. "Bad night to be out," I say, nodding toward the sky. He chuckles softly. "I suppose it is, but I don't mind the snow." Something about the way he says it makes me pause. I can't put my finger on why. He sounds fond almost, as if the weather is an old friend. I shift the sack under my arm. "Storm's supposed to get worse." "So I've heard," he replies. "They always do, this time of year." I take a step closer, intending to pass him and keep moving. That's when I notice the ground around his feet. The snow there is smooth, untouched. I look down at my own boots, at the clear trail of footprints I've left behind me. I glance back at him. His shoes are visible beneath the hem of his coat, dark and plain. But there are no tracks leading to him, no tracks leading away. Maybe the wind filled them in, I tell myself. The snow is falling hard enough, but the wind isn't blowing here. Not really. "You headed home?" I ask, more out of politeness than curiosity. "Yes," he says, smiling a little wider. "You could say that." "Me too," I reply, "just over the hill." "So am I," he says, in a manner of speaking. The hairs on my arms rise beneath my coat. There's something in his tone that doesn't sit right, something playful and distant all at once. I study his face more closely now. His skin is pale, unnaturally so, and his eyes have a strange look to them, as if they're focused on something far behind me rather than on me myself. "Cold night," I say, the words feeling inadequate. "It always is," he answers, "but you get used to it." The wind picks up suddenly, sending a swirl of snow between us. I shiver, pulling my coat tighter. He doesn't react at all. His coat doesn't flap. His hat doesn't shift. "You from around here?" I ask. He gestures with one gloved hand toward the stones behind him. "Very." I follow the motion of his hand and see the headstone at his back, half buried and tilted. I step closer, squinting to read the inscription through the snow crusted over it. The name catches in my throat. It's his. The same narrow face, the same name carved deep into cold stone, the dates ending more than 10 years earlier. December. Mid-December. I feel the world tilt. My ears ring, and for a moment I think I might faint. "That's..." I start, then stop. I don't know how to finish the sentence. "Yes," he says gently. That's me. I back away, my heels slipping in the snow. That's not possible. He watches me with an expression that might be sympathy. I suppose not. But here we are. The storm seems to lean in around us. Snow falls heavier, thicker, blotting out what little light remains. The cemetery stretches on in every direction, rows of stones fading into white nothingness. I realize then how quiet it is. No wind now, no distant town sounds, just us. You shouldn't be afraid, he says. I'm just taking a walk. A walk? I repeat, my voice thin. Yes, I always liked evenings like this. Snow on the ground, Christmas close. Makes it feel familiar. I shake my head, my thoughts scrambling. You're dead. I am, he agrees easily. Have been for some time. My heart pounds so hard I feel it in my throat. Then you shouldn't be here. He smiles, and this time there's something sad in it. And yet, he steps forward. I stumble back, nearly dropping the sack. My breath comes in short, sharp bursts, fogging the air between us. As he moves, I notice something else. His feet still don't disturb the snow. He glides, barely touching the ground. You go on home, he says. Your family will be waiting. Mine has been waiting a long time. The snow begins to swirl, drawn into a slow, circling pattern around us. Shapes seem to form at the edges of my vision, dark figures standing among the stones, watching. I hear murmurs, low and layered, voices whispering beneath the hush of falling snow. I don't want to be here, I say, the words barely audible. Neither did I, he replies softly. Not at first. A hand touches my arm. I scream. The sack drops, spilling gifts into the snow. I wrench free and run, boots slipping, heart hammering. The cemetery twists around me, paths vanishing, stones looming up out of nowhere. The whispers grow louder, overlapping, voices calling out in tones that sound like pleading, like memory. Stay. Just a moment. Don't go yet. The cold bites deeper with every step, sinking into my bones, slowing me down. My lungs burn, my vision narrows. I think of Christmas lights, of warm rooms and familiar faces, and I force my legs to keep moving. I burst through the iron gate and stumble onto the street, falling to my knees in the snow. The lights of town blaze suddenly, painfully bright. Sound rushes back, the wind, a distant car, the faint jingle of a bell from a shop door. When I look back, the cemetery gate stands open behind me. There are no footprints in the snow inside. People find me there, shaking and half frozen. Someone helps me up. Someone else picks up my dropped presents and presses them back into my hands. They ask me what happened, why I look like I've seen a ghost. I never tell them. Not really. But every December, when the snow comes down heavy and the storm rolls in, I think of that man strolling among the stones like it's no big thing at all. I think of the way he smiled and the way the cemetery seemed to wake up around us. And I know, deep down, that Wyoming winters belong to the dead just as much as the living.